You got that right. These are 8 features removed from Roblox Doors for one reason or another. So smash that like and subscribe, especially if you want some of these to come back, and let's dive right into it. Number 1, removed entity. What if I told you that Roblox Doors has removed several entities in the past? Well, it's true, especially when it comes to an alternate version of Jack early on in development. Meet Mobble, an X group of entities that was removed from the game files just 5 days before the game's released. Unfortunately, it's unknown why Mobble was deleted, but many do speculate it's due to a decision in order to keep the design of the game as simple as it can be. The developers have noted that Mobble was actually a reference of multiple entities, the first one being Jack as we know, and also having Ambush planned to be the next Mobble as well. But as we know, they ended up being made as their own separate entities. Number 2, the Crucifix. Roblox Doors, as we know, has multiple items that players can use as they progress through the haunted hotel. But of course, there were several items that were removed early in development, one of which was this oddly shaped crucifix. This item, as the wiki describes, was designed to be a one-time use entity prevention tool, temporarily trapping whatever entity it was supposed to be affecting in a hell-like portal before being discarded from the player's inventory. It was not an item that was to be purchased by the shop, so you had to find them in containers or compartments throughout the rooms. Of course, this item was deleted merely 5 days before the release of the game, along with the Mobbles. It was unknown how long this item would trap the specified entity in the portal for, but if I had to guess, 5 seconds would have been a good benchmark in order to get past and get to the next room. Number 3, the skeleton key. Yet another item that was effectively removed from the game files is this unique idea, which features a key in the shape of a skeleton skull. Now, we all know about lockpicks and what they do in the game, but this was what the skeleton key would have done. But it was even more OP. As stated, when equipped, it can unlock any locked doors without the need of going through rooms. Using it will decrease the durability before eventually breaking on the 5th use. So with the skeleton key, you could actually teleport past rooms and skip them completely, saving time roaming around looking for those annoying keys. Though it should be used sparingly, advising players with lockpicks to go first before using the skeleton key. Along with being found in drawers, the skeleton key would have been able to be bought in the shop for roughly 100 knobs. But at that price, it seemed to be too powerful of a tool, so it ended up getting scrapped instead. Honestly, wouldn't mind seeing this come back again, especially if they upped the price to, let's say, 500 knobs instead. Would you buy it at 500? Number 4, pre-ambush. I'm sure we all know the ambush that's around in Roblox Doors today. His usual shape and look in that white and green matrix looking style, but his original appearance was something that looked very creepy. This is how Ambush looked like during the Mobble stages of development, and there are many differences between the current one and this old one. The old version is completely red, having teeth and also a scalp underneath the original design, while getting rid of the distorted static effect. The reason why he looked like this was because as a Mobble entity, he was going to basically be an alternate version of Jack and simply jump scare players in cabinets and doors. But since they were made into their own entities, they had to recreate and reform his look. Not going to lie though, I would probably poop my pants if I saw this jump out of the screen randomly, man. That's just so creepy looking. Number 5, Old Shadow. Shadow is another entity that is super rare to encounter, with only 1 out of 2,000 chance to appear on the other side of an opened door. But even he had an old version which was eventually scrapped to replace the new look. This picture is all that we have from the old version of Shadow, as he basically just looked like a stickman that was tilted to the side. Now, I'm not going to say anything specific, but this obviously does look like something that Roblox moderation would act upon it, so that pretty much explains why they had to make a new version of this. Other than that though, not many differences are found except for the tilted head expression in the old one compared to the new one. Number 6, removed soundtracks. Huge thanks to Siren for this part, but this YouTuber was able to find confirmed unused soundtracks for the game deep within its files. This first one that is playing is the song known as The Figure Enraged. It was unknown where it was going to be played or used for, but many speculate that this was the prototype version of the Door 100 song that plays during the whole interaction with Figure. You can notice that it has an upbeat feeling to it, which does make it more dramatic when it comes to the ending of the game. Another removed soundtrack from the files is this one called Stress, and again, it is unknown exactly what this soundtrack was intended for, though some do believe that it was used for the heartbeat minigame, especially since it brings a feeling of nervousness and urgency to the table. Like, don't miss the heartbeat, or you're going to pretty much be dead. Number 7, Oldschool Figure. Believe it or not, even Figure has a couple older versions of himself, which was eventually all scrapped and replaced with this current beastly look. The oldest version of Figure that we have is this mere screenshot of him doing a T-pose in Roblox Studio. You can notice that he is missing the giant teeth mouth, and he has 2 holes where his eyes were supposedly going to be. This next model of Figure in his previous version, and it looks a lot closer to the one we all know, except his arms were rounded and he appeared to be stubbier and shorter in this older version. Kinda glad they changed him, because I don't think I could have taken the other one seriously. Number 8, I. Eyes is one of those entities that you may not encounter super often if you're lucky. But this version of Eyes that we are all used to is definitely not the first version of him. As shown in this early development screenshot, these were some concepts of the entity's original eye models, and they were looking to use the same sparkle effect that Halt uses for his eyes as well, interestingly enough. So could Eyes have been a distant relative of Halt at some point? It could have been possible, especially with that little coincidence. But do you want these features, especially those items, back in the game? You better like and subscribe if you do, and goodbye.